This all started in 6th grade. My whole school was online due to COVID. I didn't notice him then, but there was this guy there and it was quiet, like really quiet. Plus he rarely showed up for class. To top it off, it wasn't framed in my school's yearbook. Then one day in the 7th grade, I was talking to friends and then I heard this quiet voice behind me say, "IK." I turned around and saw him. He had glasses and had the sweetest haircut ever. But like I said, I didn't know him, so I asked him, "I'm sorry, do I know you?" He got surprised and said, "Yeah, you know me. I'm X from Mrs. K's class." I smiled and laughed. We spent the day together and this was on a Friday, and after that day, we became inseparable. One day, he asked me out to a Halloween dance and I said yes. On that same day, I met his brother M. M was nice and a kind person. Every time you said to him, he'd shake your hand and lock you in for a hug. And then I think it was by then I started having a crush on X. I started thinking about him non-stop. One day on the phone, he said he had a confession to make. He said that he had a crush on me since the day we first met in person. I got so happy that I told him I liked him too. Then the Halloween dance came and he asked to be his girlfriend and I said yes. But after that, I started noticing things were changing. One day, I asked him if I could tell my best friend and he said yes because I knew I had to ask permission to tell anyone about the relationship. I then told my best friend and then she asked my boyfriend about it and he was shocked. He got mad and told me that I was a backstabber, a liar. One day, I couldn't take it anymore and told him that we needed a break. He understands. But by then, the relationship was getting worse and worse, and was by then it was getting M involved. I couldn't take it anymore and told him the break is over, and we were over. By then, I wanted to get him off my mind, so I took a walk, and that's when I noticed someone new. It wasn't just any guy, it was a guy I was friends with. I couldn't believe it. I then reached out to him and we began talking. Let's call him D. One day, D told me that he had a male best friend. I was cool with it since I was his female best friend, but his male best friend was M. I said okay, but after that I got a really bad feeling. One day, D said he wanted me to meet his best male friend. I told him I couldn't, and when asked why, I told him about me and X's history. By then, he just knew me and M couldn't be together until one day. One day, I was invited by one of my female friends, Jay, to go to a Super Bowl party. I was so excited and of course I wanted to go. What I didn't know is that X and M would be there. I met some of Jay's other friends and it was great. But then, the door opened again and I nearly jumped off the couch because standing by the dirt was X and M. I was so shocked but didn't want to leave because of them, so I stayed. I had some words with both of them about life. Then during the halftime show, X had to take a phone call from his friend and Jay needed to use the restroom. So there was just me and M. By then I couldn't take my eyes off him. We talked for a bit and then he told me he had missed me. And I told him I missed him too. We then got close and eventually I cuddled with him. When Jay came back, she just sat on the couch as if it was normal. But when X got back, his heart stopped. He then got mad and started to record me and M. M didn't care at all, and neither did I. At one point during the Super Bowl, we held hands. I was smiling the whole time, but after we were holding hands, he looked at me and then accidentally hit his head against my lips. He then asked, "Did you just kiss me?" "No, you hit your head against my lips," I calmly said. Later after that, the brothers got into another argument and it happened again. I looked at him and he hit his head against my lips. He then said, "Okay, you really kissed me." I then got annoyed and said, "Want to see a real kiss?" I then without thinking kissed him on the chick. I saw X's face and it looked like the whole world had been destroyed. They later left after 2 hours of me and M cuddling, but after that, I couldn't stop thinking about M. I missed how nice he was and threw me back to memory lane, like when I first met him on the phone. We started talking again up until one day, I think X's manipulation got to him and he started running away from me and hiding from me. I asked D about it and he said it was because M told him that I did horrible things to X which were not true. I then finally couldn't take it anymore and wanted to get over both of the brothers. So one day, I asked D to hang out and he said yes. Then I know it sounded crazy, but I fell for him. Then one day, while we were hanging out, he one day said to me he had feelings for me. To be honest, I did too. I know I'm in 8th grade and still see X since we're in the same grade. I also became friends with X and M again. X started dating a new person and M is still single, but we're good friends now. But we never spoke about what happened ever again. And I'm still dating D and I never felt happier than ever.